Hi guys, Joeytherainbow here. This is actually my first video that I'm actually doing, other than the live stream I did of Battlefield 1, which if you want to check out, I'm not very good at that, but the link will be in the description below. But anyways, on to what we're talking about today, which is Bethesda Game Studios and what they announced at their E3 conference, which wasn't quite too long ago. And what it is it's called Creation Club. And we're talking about that specifically. They did reveal some other cool stuff at their E3 conference, but we'll be talking about Creation Club. Now, if you don't know, Creation Club is, some people are calling it paid mods. I don't think that's entirely accurate, but it kind of does describe what it is. Now, I'm going to read right here Bethesda's official statement they have on Creation Club. Creation Club is a new collection of all new content for both Fallout 4 and Skyrim. It features new items, abilities, and gameplay created by Bethesda Game Studios and outside development partners, including the best community creators. Creation Club content is fully curated and compatible with the main game and official add-ons. Alright, so essentially what that means is people inside of Bethesda Game Studios, as well as people outside that Bethesda approves, will be able to work on stuff that will be added into the actual game. Now, it's not going to be immediately added into the game immediately for you, though. You have to purchase it. And this is where the whole paid DLC thing comes in, and where people get up in arms. And another thing, if you don't know, Bethesda and Valve tried to do something similar to this, somewhat like it, and it was charging for mods on Skyrim on Steam. And I believe that what happened was the people who made the mods would get a 25% cut of whatever they sold, because they had to give money to Valve and they had to give money to Bethesda, and people really got up in arms about that, and some people don't like the concept of paid mods at all, just because it's been such a community thing and it's been such a free thing for so long. People don't really like the idea. But I actually think the Creation Club is a great thing, and here's why. I'll go into a little bit more detail about it first and explain why, actually. But so what it is Bethesda, actual employees at Bethesda will make stuff that could be weapons you can have in the Skyrim or Fallout. It could be armor. It could be something like Frostfall, where like maybe it adds in a cold element where you have to avoid the cold and keep yourself warm, and that adds a new gameplay mechanic. And it could be all sorts of things, and it could be really anything that adds to the game, and they'll be putting it in this in-game marketplace, and that will allow you to be able to purchase it and add it into your game. And even if you add it, you'll still be able to get official trophies and stuff. And this helps them get the workaround with PlayStation, because they're not actually allowed to let people make mods in the game, except with gameplay assets. If you use gameplay assets only, you can make mods for Skyrim on PlayStation. That was the only deal they were able to work out with PlayStation with mods. Xbox, you can make whatever mods you want, and PC, you've always been able to make whatever mods you want. But I think this is probably a little bit of a workaround with PlayStation and letting people essentially get mods that are actually approved by Bethesda themselves. And I'm not sure whether this will work on the Nintendo Switch, but maybe it will. Maybe it will work with that. Now, on to how they'll actually work with the developers on it. So it's not just people inside of Bethesda. They'll have in-house teams working on this content, which is a great thing. But they'll also have members of the community, so some of the best modders, and they have to be approved by Bethesda themselves, and Bethesda themselves has to check them and add them to the list of people that are allowed to do this. And once they do this, they can submit a project proposal to Bethesda, and if they approve it and say, okay, that sounds like a great mod idea, then they can go ahead and they can start to work on that mod after they submit a schedule for an expected completion date to Bethesda, and they'll also receive compensation from Bethesda. Now, after it's finished, Bethesda puts it in the marketplace, and you can purchase credits to use in the marketplace with real-world money. It's unknown whether or not you'll be able to earn credits in-game. I doubt it, but it's still possible at this point. They haven't necessarily ruled it out that that's a possibility that can't happen. By the way, if you have questions about this, they do have a frequently asked questions section on their website. Just Google Bethesda Creation Club and you'll be able to find it. Anyways, that's how this whole thing works. And some people are really up in arms about it because they don't like the idea of paid mods. But I like it because I don't necessarily think it actually qualifies as paid mods. Because what Bethesda is essentially doing is they're admitting those people to Bethesda Game Studios, because these people who are outside of Bethesda Game Studios that used to be part of the community that are now working with Bethesda, they come in and they work with actual Bethesda employees, and they treat them almost sort of like an in-house developer. It's like them outsourcing some of their work to third-party people, which lots of game companies do. Almost everybody does it, because you need to have as many people as you can working on these massive games these days. But the point is that they're treating these members from the community not as modders, but almost as in-house developers, in addition to publishing their content on the community marketplace with content from Bethesda themselves. And it's only those people, the people that Bethesda specifically approves, can work on that, whether that be a person from the community or another third-party studio, or it's from Bethesda themselves. And so that's how the content gets there. And they're treating those people almost like in-house developers. So I don't think it necessarily actually qualifies as a mod, in my opinion, because a mod is something that you modify to the game. But the moment it comes from Bethesda itself and they approve it and it becomes official purchasable parts of the game, in my opinion, that becomes DLC. And this is essentially adding microtransactions and DLC to Skyrim, which I still think is fine, because you can spend some more money and you can spend lots more time in Skyrim, which we need more content with Skyrim coming out on the Switch, on PlayStation VR. I mean, you have Skyrim on literally pretty much everything now. I won't be surprised if 5 years from now you have like Skyrim on an iPad or something. You can play Skyrim on a tablet. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But this is really great, because it's kind of getting old for me personally. Like, it's still great to have Skyrim on all these different devices. Skyrim's a great game. But the point is that Skyrim is really kind of getting old. And so once you inject this and allow new content to flow, it injects some new feeling into the game, and so that you can continue playing it for longer. Which is great, because Skyrim's a great game, but I mean, I can only take so much of it, to be honest. Anyways, so they're treating these people like in-house developers and allowing them to sell it. So I don't think it actually qualifies as paid mods, and I think it's a great thing, because it allows people from the community who want to essentially work like a developer with Bethesda to be able to get their mods or their in-house development with Bethesda team out into the marketplace and become purchasable DLC or microtransactions, and be able to be added to this game. And this adds tons of new content to the game, and I honestly think it's a win-win for everybody. I mean, nobody's saying that you can't mod Skyrim regularly. They're still going to allow that easily, but those mods won't be official content sponsored by Bethesda and allowed to be parts of the official game, and that's the way it's always been. So regular mods are going to stay the exact same, but some people are going to be able to essentially be freelance developers for Bethesda, which I think is a great thing, because this allows people, some modders, to maybe get some actual experience with gaming studios and get connections in Bethesda. I mean, this could honestly lead to them getting a full-time job. I mean, that's happened before with modders getting jobs at game studios, but this allows them to build connections at Bethesda, and it gives us great new content, and honestly, I think it's a win-win for every single person. So, whether you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear your feedback down in the comment section below, but I honestly support this move by Bethesda 100%, and I think it's a great thing, like almost a better version of what they tried to do with Valve on Steam, but this time it's going to work a lot better, because you're not going to have people putting up mods that they didn't actually make. They just copied it and stuck it on the store and slapped a price tag on it. No, this has to be approved by Bethesda, and so everything's going to be monitored by them, and it's going to be a completely safe marketplace. And so yeah, it's going to add all the security. We're going to get the great benefits, and I think it's a great win-win for everybody. So go ahead and leave your thoughts on whatever you want on this, on whatever you want on me, on this video, on this topic. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, since I right now have literally 0 subscribers. But go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you later. See ya.